Hey guys, this is Miss Jacobson. This is day 3 of personal narrative. Our goal is still that we're going to be able to write past tense narratives that reflect our own experiences, and that we will brainstorm lists of possible moments in our lives that would make good personal narratives. Sometimes a memory can strongly be connected to a place. So looking at some examples, what do you notice about all these pictures? Pause the video if you need time to think, but what do all of these things have in common? Something that all of these pictures have in common is that they're all related to people's homes or to places where people gather. So a neighborhood, a park, playing outside in front of houses, somebody's house, playing in the street in your neighborhood. These are all places where people spend a lot of time. So let's look at an example of a personal narrative that is based on a place, where the setting is so important that it's almost a character itself. This is called interior design. My mother decided my father never noticed anything in the house. To prove her point, she bought a packet of the plastic clay you use to hang posters and stuck a few items on the library wall above the couch. A matchbox, whiteout, a Kleenex pack, featherweight things. He said nothing. See, she told me, and stuck up an artificial rose and nail scissors. No response. Unbelievable, she said, adding scotch tape, pipe cleaners, brush rollers, one of the coin purses the cleaners gave away. Daddy just walked to his chair upstairs every night, dozing off halfway through the news. Finally, when the wall looked as though the plaster had broken out in junk, Mother took it all down. It's hopeless, she told me. But that night, Daddy said, "You know, I usually like the way you decorate, but that didn't look quite right." So what are your thoughts about this personal narrative? How did the piece make you feel? What kind of emotions did you feel? There is always some sort of strong emotion tied to a personal narrative, even if it's not like devastating, life-altering. For me, this personal narrative is kind of humorous, but it also kind of teaches you a lesson by being funny, because you're kind of laughing along with Mom. Oh my gosh, how did her dad not notice? And then at the end, you're like, oh, maybe she shouldn't have assumed that he didn't notice things just because he wasn't saying anything. Why did you feel that way? What did the author do to make you feel that way? For the focus of the piece, this piece was very focused on the setting. And it was not even just focused on the house. It was focused on one specific place in the house, one specific location. The library wall, where she stuck all the items to the wall, is as important to the story as the characters are. The setting is super important. Without that setting, it wouldn't happen. What was the most powerful part of this piece for you? So think about this for a second. Why is a familiar place an easy thing to write a story about? I'll give you like 10 seconds. Pause longer if you need to brainstorm that. How can a setting be an important part of the story? How can the way you describe your setting change your story? Keep this in mind as we do today's assignment. Sometimes our memories, which is always what we're writing about when we write personal narratives, is our own life experiences and our own memories. Sometimes our memories can be connected to a place. So I want you to think about all the places that you've either lived or spent a lot of time. You don't have to know the exact address of it, but you should know a description of somewhere where you've spent a lot of time. Today, you're going to make a sketch or a blueprint of the house or the place that you talked about. You're going to write down those memories in the particular places. This is all based on something that one of our mentor authors for this year, Jack Gantos, who wrote the story about the wart. This is something that he does as a professional writer in order to develop his settings and to develop his personal narratives. So here are some of his maps that all go with his particular stories. And when he draws out these maps, they're either all the details for one particular story, or they're a map of a particular place, and he thinks that he lists every single memory he has in that place. Here's a little bit closer. Here is his memory of his aunt's house, and it's labeled with different memories. For instance, getting lost in the woods, Dad trying to dance in the backyard, setting the stove on fire, like the chocolate explosion that eventually caught on fire, if you read that story. These are all different memories he has that are strongly attached to this one place. So what you're going to do today is you're going to make a sketch or a blueprint of one particular place that has a lot of memories for you. And you're going to label that place with strong memories that happened in that place. And you're going to label them on your map. And this is going to be another strategy that we use in order to figure out what is important to us to write about for personal narratives.